Hello, Scorpio friends. I'm Annie Botticelli, and welcome to my Scorpio August 2023 Astrology Horoscope forecast. This is for you if Scorpio is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Scorpio placement you're listening for. What I'm going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. And if you're a very late degree Scorpio friend, so birthdays around November 15th through the rest of the sign, or Scorpio placement like 23 degrees or so through the rest of the sign, I suggest you additionally listen to my Sagittarius report, since both the Scorpio and Sag reports will have pieces for you late degree friends. I'm calling the theme of this month for Scorpio 4 rare chances for Scorpio to rise, and I'm so excited to share with you what I see in the charts for you. It's my intention to help you understand the energetics at play in this time period so that you can make the most of the starry possibilities. It would be nice if astrological influences fit underneath a neat month-long umbrella, but they don't, So a lot of the things that we're going to talk about for August are fully in effect for August. Some things are unique about August, but a lot of the flows of the planetary transits will start before August and go after August. Okay, so we're talking about a period of time, and we'll get into more of those details. Okay, so let's talk about some general layers of astrological experiences that you'll be noticing in August. Everything in life is layers, and when we look at astrology, if we break it down into layers, it helps us better understand these many different factors that are part of the bigger picture. First thing is that we do have, again in August, like we did in July, many more salty aspects compared to sweet ones. I call aspects salty when they have a disharmonious connection. So everything in astrology is based in math. These mathematical connections change the quality and the frequency of the type of experience that's brought. So these salty aspects are when the planets are not getting along, and we've got quite a bit of that, but it's nothing to fear. These are nuisance aspects, meaning they're not like the big, long outer planet, like earth-shattering connections sometimes that happen, with less frequency. These are the ones that are annoying for an hour, a day, a couple of days, and then they pass. So you'll notice that. I like to liken these to road bumps. So if you know you're on a street with road bumps and you slow down, they're not as jostling. Okay, so I'm telling you there are going to be a lot of road bumps this month. Certainly not more than we've had in other months. Just the ratio of sweet to salty is notably in favor of the salty. But there are a lot of sweet aspects, and most of those are in earth energies, which flow wonderfully with your water sign. So there's definitely a lot to celebrate. Something else that we're celebrating in general, and especially for Scorpio, is that we still have a break from eclipse season. Those April and May eclipses carried a lot of intensity, even into June, especially for Taurus and Scorpio people, because we're still working this Taurus-Scorpio eclipse cycle. Then we had the entrance of another cycle, the Aries-Libra storyline. So all of this is me, we, my stuff, our stuff. And we will have the conclusion of that Taurus-Scorpio eclipse cycle this fall, or spring for you all down under. But this July and August timeframe are more free of the intensity of those eclipses. Not to say that there still can't be manifestations along the storylines, but as we get into September and October are going to increase in intensity, and you'll notice it. Kind of think back to April, May into June, there was a lot of intensity. Now things are just kind of like basically integrating the changes that happened, adjusting to your new normal from the changes that happened. And we've got a little bubble here, into August, that you'll have that. And starting at the very end of August into September, these are going to bubble back up again. So enjoy the break. Okay, so now we want to drill in a little bit deeper. Something else that I want to get into now before we talk about our 4 rare chances plus these retrogrades. We've got Mercury and Venus retrograde this month. I want to talk about the profile of the personal planets' personalities this month. Whenever a planet goes through a sign, it's like that planet takes on the personality of that sign. I always like to think of these the planets as like people, they're like characters at a party, at a gathering. And, when they cluster together in a certain sign, whatever the energy of that sign is, that's the mood of the party or the gathering. So we've got a big gathering in the energy of Leo, and we have a big gathering in the energy of Virgo. And those are really two very, very different energies. We'll talk more about how those each individually make angles with Scorpio as we dive deeper as we go on here. But for now, I want to talk about a little bit more of a superficial quality of the energies, because you'll definitely be feeling this. The first is that the Leo mood is festive. It's fun. It's all about pleasures and hobbies and, excitement and creativity and passion. And it does rule children and the experience of going through life with childlike wonder, or actual kids, or the creative process of kids, or the creative process of a creative baby, some kind of project. I also call this energy the bucket list energy, like the things you've always wanted to do. So there's a lot of that sizzling around. Now, in general, for Scorpio, this energy makes a square. So it can mean that the things going on with that energy might cause you to have to work a little bit to get the gold, or might put some pressure on you. But that doesn't have to be a bad thing. Like, let's say you've got a creative project that you're excited about, but you got to stay disciplined and stay focused and bring it to fruition. So there's the pressure point. You've got a motivation, you've got an inspiration, but you got to do the work. Sometimes these square energies are just, annoying and stressful and not as nice as I've just described. But, certainly all of these things are possible. So you will be feeling the energy of children, the energy of your romantic space, having a lot of zest, having a lot of pressure, and that's going to be part of the profile of the month. The next thing to know is about Virgo energies. Okay, so Virgo brings us a lot of detail-oriented focus. It brings a lot of organization and systems and grounded practical energy. And something I love about this month is that there's so much of each of these energies. It doesn't always happen that way. We do have this crossover from the sun into Virgo from Leo in August every year, but that doesn't mean that these other personal planets are lining up like they are in Leo, 3 in Leo and 3 in Virgo. So we've got Venus, which will be retrograde, Lilith, we've got the sun all in Leo, we've got Mercury, which will be retrograde, Pallas Athena, and Mars in Virgo. All right, so we've got 3 and 3. The way that I'm seeing this, it's kind of rare that they pile up like this, is that these Leo planets are giving energy and enthusiasm and creativity and passion. And the Virgo ones are giving you a channel to bring all of that Leo exuberance into an organized and tangible expression. All right, so this is a month where discernment and, focus on trimming the fat and just kind of building this earthy channel for the fiery flow to go through. It's where you can turn the excess of the Leo energies into what I'm calling a chiseled version of perfection. So it's like, you've got the motivation, you've got the energy, you've got the direction, you've got the purpose, you've got the form. It's all coming together. And that's rare, and that's really cool. Now, Leo energies can bring excitement, and they can also bring ego flares. So just kind of look out for that. Same, every planet, every sign, every placement has a range or a spectrum of potential manifestation. That can go from lowest to highest. So other good things about Virgo, it brings a critical eye in a positive way, and follow through. But in the negative way, it could bring a critical eye in a negative way, either you towards others or towards yourself or others towards you. So there's just this, this kind of evaluation process going on where you're trying to figure out where to put your creative juices. Okay, so now let's dig a little deeper and we can start to get into our 4 rare chances for Scorpio to rise. So the first on my list, I'm very excited about this, is a set of Mars trines in Earth energies. Okay, so August 1st, we have Mars in Virgo trining Jupiter, and Jupiter's there in Taurus. We've got on August 16th, Mars in Virgo trine Uranus in Taurus. And then we also have on August 24th, Mars in Virgo is trining Pluto back in Capricorn. Okay, So Pluto went into Aquarius. It's retrograded back into the very late degrees of Cap. And as Mars progresses throughout the month, it will get to the end of Virgo and it will lock into this trine, the most fabulous of all angles in astrology, formation. So what are we looking at here? Why is this a chance, and why is it a rare chance for Scorpio to rise? So first of all, it's not often that we have a set of trines like this. And not only is Mars going to be making trines, Mercury at some point soon, and if not right at this time, the general energetic, actually no, it will. Mercury's going to make trines too. Yeah, so Mercury will actually make a trine with Jupiter as well on August 10th. Okay, and then when it goes into retrograde, it will make another trine later, and then when it goes direct, it'll make another trine. So basically, there's this opportunity for hard work to have major results, causing you to rise in wherever you have these outcomes. Okay, so let's talk about where the potentials are for the outcomes. We're going to break this down. The first thing to know, again, is that Virgo and Taurus energies both relate to hard work. This is something that you do every day. These are things with consistency. These are things with routine. So this can have anything to do with like your physical body, working out, exercising. Okay, you could have great results with your health or your physique. This can have to do with serving others. And there are a lot of layers here as we add to the layers of other people. Okay, so it could be your personal pursuits, things for yourself, for your work to get noticed, hard work. Money can come into it, all of these things, because obviously money is material, anything tangible is a potential for you to rise up, in whatever area you're focused on. And even some things you might not be, because these blessings can just come to you and fall into your lap. But the trine is also happening. The Taurus one placements are in the 7th house, so Jupiter is there. And then the Mars and Mercury are in your 11th house. So the 7th house has to do with your one-on-one relationships, all of your close relationships and your relationship to relationship. So there could be positive improvements, not only in individual relationships, but also with how you relate to people in general. So there's this storyline of this building of confidence. There's a storyline of this building of self that echoes out into your relationships, this discernment process. And then we bring in the 11th house, and this now is like groups. This is friends, groups, teammates, people in an organization that you work for, community. There's this storyline of things building where your efforts are contributing to a greater good of a group or to a relationship, and other people's resources can feed into your personal pursuits. Okay, so this is, a rare series of trines. That doesn't happen very commonly. And this is one of our, and actually I could have listed this as, more chances because there are multiple trines, but I'm just listing the fact that there are so many trines as this rare chance. And the fact that they're all happening at one time, it's like, that's a lot of goodness. Now we add in the layer. Everybody in the zodiac can benefit from these trines. They're global, but they're also making a nice angle for Scorpio. Okay, so that add to that now, and there's even more of a rarity to it. All right, and this has to do with your way that you see yourself, how other people see you. So there can be a lot of positive improvements in how you present yourself out into the world, which always coincides with how you see yourself. And sometimes it's hard to tell what would come first. Like, do you have some support from somebody else that helps you to see something in yourself? And then it all just is this beautiful positive cascade? Or do you make positive improvements inside, and then that echoes out into your other relationships and everything outside of you? Okay, so the next rare chance for Scorpio to rise is Venus retrograde in the 10th house. And the third rare chance for Scorpio to rise is Venus retrograde in Leo. All right, so let's group these together for part of it, and then we'll separate them out again. Venus retrograde happens every 18 months, but it doesn't happen in the same sign or the same house. So the fact that it's in the sign of Leo is a rare event. The fact that it's in the house of Capricorn is a rare event. And there are so many opportunities that come with this. Okay, so let's give a little background. I'll give you some timelines first to set the foundation, and then we'll drill into these possibilities. Okay, so Venus goes retrograde. Basically, the pre-transit shadow period begins June 19th and stretches to July 23rd when it officially shifts into retrograde. Will stay retrograde from July 23rd until September 4th, with the post-transit shadow period lasting until October 6th. Venus has a lot of divisions of rulership, okay? Love and relationships and money and finances and beauty and appearance and design and aesthetics and comfort and sustenance and more. And so when Venus goes in retrograde, it can cause issues in those areas from the past to come up. But whenever issues come up, that's a chance to resolve them. So that's first of all. Second of all, it can also bring opportunities from the past, happiness from the past, abundance from the past, help from past resources. And that's what's going on here. So this energy can be directed into your 10th house, which is work and career and father figures and projects that you have out in the world. Okay, so that means maybe your dad had intended something for you and it comes through. Okay, maybe you didn't even know he intended something for you, but he wanted something for you. Now Venus has come back and it's coming to you. Okay, it can bring in things that were intended for you from the past that are coming in now. It can also bring in business, work, employment. If you are looking for a job or you need a work opportunity, this more than ever is the time to look to past contacts, past ideas, past dreams. If you wanted to have your own business, not saying to launch your own business in Venus retrograde if you can help it, okay? That's not generally the best time to launch a brand new business. But if there's a division of your business or an experimental line or something where the risk is low, but the profit potentials or the outcomes could be high, those are the kind of things that you want to do in Venus retrograde, where you can try a little something that could work out big, but if it doesn't matter kind of thing. So things can happen in a very big way with this rare energy combining. Things to heal with your father figures, whether you're in contact with them or whether they're still on the planet or not. There's something specific about your childhood, your way of loving, your relationship with father figures. And I will also say in here that it doesn't have to just relate to fathers. This is, traditionally the house of fathers, but I've seen over many years, including my own mother has shown up in the 10th house because she, was very strong, single parent at some point, played paternal roles. And of course, this doesn't necessarily have anything to do with gender. These are roles that someone plays in somebody's life. Somebody can play a mother role to you and the gender is not relevant. They can have a soft energy and be your emotional space or whatever. So there's something that's going on here in any of those divisions that is a rare chance for you to benefit, to join together, to give, to receive, and it's all in those areas. This also has to do with your recognition. So if you have been doing a lot of work, there are a lot of things happening in your chart where you can actually be recognized for those things. Okay, so now let's look a little bit more at Venus in the sign of Leo. That's one of these rare occurrences and a chance for you to rise. Leo, like I referred to earlier when we started the discussion about, the general Leo transits. This is like a fun, zesty, sparkly, creative, fiery energy. It pertains to the whole creative process from the idea of something through the conception, through the birth, through the rearing of it, whether it's a human or whether it's a creative project, it doesn't matter. This can also have to do with fashion. It can have to do with someplace where you're basically seen by others. You could be an athlete. Everybody has their eyes on you. You could have a YouTube channel, whatever it is, something going on with people having their eyes on you and attention coming to you. You could be a musician, whatever it is, but attention is coming to you. So this is lining up in your house of work. So this could mean that things that you've been doing for your passions can start to earn you money, right? So creative efforts can be joined with financial outcomes. And that's always a major, major, major blessing. I don't know about you, but I know that, I was raised in such a way that I wasn't taught that you could pursue creative efforts, that those were nice things to do on the side, but that you couldn't really make money with your hobbies that much, But obviously we've seen prove that wrong. But, this is a time where the combination of something that's pleasurable and something that earns money or puts you kind of on the map with what you're trying to do all combined together. So this is rare chances for Scorpio to rise in those arenas as well. So the fourth wonderful chance, actually, before we get to the fourth chance, I want to go back and give you a couple of more pieces about Venus retro. There are a lot of do's and don'ts for Venus retrograde. This is one of my areas of expertise. I don't have time to get into all of this now. If you, at the end of this report, there will be an opportunity to click on the playlist. If you click on the playlist, you'll find my July reading for Scorpio. And in there, I go very much into Venus retrograde as well. If you're interested to understanding how the eclipses might be affecting you, you can also find my April and May reports. I just wanted to mention that. I always like to give you all these resources to go deeper and deeper, from my free bank here. Okay, so then the next thing is that in the notes underneath this video or podcast, I have a ton of Venus retrograde resources, blogs, videos, different kinds of things. Definitely educate yourself about this, because the more you understand, the more you can not make the mistakes that Venus retrograde can cause people to make, where you're not seeing clearly in certain arenas. And there are some typical things that go on. So you can avoid the pitfalls by educating yourself with these resources. You can find those links there. Okay, so now Mercury retrograde dates. Mercury's shadow period starts August 4th. The retrograde actually begins August 23rd, goes through September 14th, and then the post-shadow transit goes through September 30th. So that's a period of time where a lot of scheduled things are going to change. If you can avoid scheduling things that you don't have to put in that time frame, like maybe do those in July if you go to the dentist and the doctors, and if it's all the same to you and there's no intuitive inclination otherwise, you're probably going to have less rescheduling if you schedule those kind of things in July. If you try to do all your back to school appointments and all of your, stuff in August and September, you're going to do a lot of rescheduling and be on the phone waiting with annoying hold times dealing with stuff. Okay, so it's just something that goes on in Mercury retrograde. You can also search for Annie Botticelli Mercury retrograde and find my blog and videos about that. So basically, August is a time to be the spider, right? Every time it's in retrograde, I remind you of the energetics where you've woven your webs, and now's the time for you to let food come to you. It's not a time to try to conjure, force, or make too many plans in the present or future. It's a time to be present with what's going on now and the things that need attention. And they will need attention because Mercury retrograde tends to bring appliance mischief. Anything electronic or electrical can tend to break down. And why is this? It is because the thing was probably on its way out, away from your consciousness, and the retrograde makes it more apparent. It makes it apparent what has been going on. It's usually not just random all of a sudden, even if it seems like it. It's been going on for a while undercover and you didn't know. And then the retrograde is like, oh, here this is. And you're like, oh gosh, this came all of a sudden. And, but it didn't. It was undercover. So that's what the retrograde tends to do, is it tends to bring right into your consciousness the awareness of the decay of the electric things around you. So just kind of, those are the kind of things that you'll need to leave space for. Leave space for having to get your dishwasher fixed. Leave space for having to get a new dryer delivered. Leave whatever, your phone being dropped in the toilet. Be extra careful about that. And then my favorite thing about Mercury retrograde is the increased chance for last minute magic. Okay, last minute magic is a term that I coined. where it's basically fun things come all of a sudden. Like an hour before a concert, someone says, hey, do you want to go? Or, it's Friday and someone's like, do you want to go away this weekend? It's like this fun stuff that comes out of the blue. And that's magical. And if you leave yourself unscheduled, then it'll be easier for you to say yes. All right, so those are all things going on. Now we can get to the fourth rare chance for Scorpio to rise. And this has to do with Saturn moving in your fellow water sign, Pisces, for a few years, but it's still kind of recent. And not only is Saturn going to make trines in this configuration, it's also going to accentuate your house of Leo. Okay, the fifth house is the house of Leo. You have Pisces there, but it's still the house of Leo. And we've already talked about a lot of Leo energies that are going on. Venus is retrograde in Leo. Lilith is there. The sun is there. And now we've got Saturn moving through that house. Saturn has a bit of a different energy, right? It's heavy. It's the stern taskmaster, but it is in a trine. And this is a rare chance to have the taskmaster on your side. I mean, it's always on your side, really, but it doesn't always feel that way. So what you're going to get to do is reshape your romantic experience, the energy of true love in your life, your energy with children, whether it's your own or others, or again, like I talked about before, a childlike wonder of the world. This can help you shape your bucket list and actually manifest these things that you've wanted. This can help you to have your creative efforts that are, or ideas that are in your mind gel into actual form. So, this transit only happens in this exact configuration like this is for a few years every 30 years. So it is a rare chance for you to use hard work and discipline and consistency, and just really brutal honesty. When I say brutal, I don't mean self-effacing. I mean just like really raw honesty as to what could be foundational problems that have to be resolved in order for you to have the best relationship with yourself, with your beloved, with your kids, with your, creative projects, and how you can have more of what you want in your life. So I've mentioned some dates here about, days to celebrate. One date to look out for, August 22nd, Mars is going to oppose Neptune. In the days around that time, it can bring more confusion, deception, look out for security breaches. It's just sort of a nebulous, cloudy energy that seems to be working against your Mars efforts. If you like knowing dates that are of importance, you will love to join my free VIP community. You can do that at anniehelpsyou.com. That's also the interface for all the free goodies I make for you each month. When you join my email community, you just have to put your name and email address in on that page. And that link is also below the notes in case you missed it or you can rewind. But I send out 3 newsletters a month, all chock full of information to help you with the starry potentials. And I send out at the end of each month an astrology newsletter for the month ahead. So like at the end of June, I would be sending August's out, kind of like how I post the YouTube videos early. This way you have plenty of time for your planning purposes and to know what's coming ahead so you can feel ready for them. Okay, so you can do that there. Also, if you would like to learn astrology and you resonate with how I teach, you will love my Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Course. If you think I put a lot into my free offerings, you should see what I put into that course. It's really very, very comprehensive and super fun. So you can see that at beastropro.com, beastropro.com. I can teach you how to earn money as an astrologer. I've been a professional astrologer for almost 20 years, and I've been an online entrepreneur, a successful online entrepreneur for over 17 years. So you can benefit from my expertise in these areas to help you step into that experience, or if you just want to learn for yourself. If you are interested in having more content from me and you don't have it in your budget to join my course yet, you will love to go into my secret star portal at anniebastrology.com. Annie, the letter B, astrology.com. You can see my deep dive Saturn in Pisces, my deep dive Jupiter through Taurus through each sign, my Making Tough Transits Easier series, and so much more. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.